All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really powerful review for a new horror film called Bring Her Back. One critic isn't just saying it's good, they're calling it a devastating masterpiece. You know, the review hooks you right from the start with a line like this. It really sets the tone, doesn't it? It tells you you're in for something much more than just a couple of cheap jump scares. This is something that's going to stick with you. And yeah, according to this critic, the new film from the creators of Talk to Me, Bring Her Back, is exactly one of those rare horror movies, the kind that clings to you long after you've left your seat. Okay, so let's get into our first section here. The review makes a pretty bold claim right up front, that with this movie, the directors, the Philippou brothers, have basically solidified their spot as the new masters of horror. Yeah, the review it doesn't pull any punches. It flat out says these Australian twin directors are on a path to become true masters of horror. I mean, after that explosive debut with Talk to Me, this second film is apparently the undeniable proof of their incredible talent. And you gotta understand, this isn't just about shock and gore. The review places it firmly in that subgenre of elevated horror. That means the terror is all tangled up with these deep, serious themes, putting it in the same conversation as modern classics like Hereditary or even Pet Sematary. The horror here, it's born from the real human pain of loss. And that story, that terrible loss, is the absolute foundation for everything that comes next. The film's heartbreaking setup is what really paves the way for all the terror. So, who are we dealing with here? Well, the story revolves around these two orphans. Piper, who is described as being full of life, even though she's visually impaired, and her brother Andy, who's really sensitive and super protective of her. They get placed with this psychologist, Laura, played by the amazing Sally Hawkins, who is deep in grief over her own daughter's death. Oh, and there's another kid in the house, Ollie, who is aggressive and doesn't speak. You can just feel the tension building in that house already. And the setting? The critic pretty much describes it as a perfect storm. We're talking a sinister, isolated, decaying house. And if that wasn't creepy enough for you, there's a hidden VHS tape somewhere inside, a tape that shows a satanic ritual. I mean, come on, that's a classic setup that just screams dread. So with the stage perfectly set, the review says the film just starts this slow descent into total madness. It really gets into that murky, terrifying space between human pain and something truly supernaturally evil. Which leads us to the central question that seems to drive the entire film. Is Laura, the psychologist, just a woman who's been broken by her suffering and driven mad? Or has that grief literally transformed her into something else? Into a monster? You see, Laura isn't some simple villain. The review gives Sally Hawkins major props. We're talking Oscar-worthy praise for capturing these contradictions. One minute, she's kind and affectionate. The next, she's manipulative and cruel. She's this desperate mother who wants to bring her child back, but she's also doing these horrific, sadistic things. The film apparently forces you to live in that terrifying gray area between victim and monster. The critic breaks down the movie's structure as this slow, unstoppable downward spiral. It starts with a very real-world kind of horror, a dangerous and just plain wrong foster placement. Then it suddenly plunges into this supernatural delirium. And finally, it all culminates in a shocking, demonic body horror finale. It's a slow burn that just completely explodes. So where does this kind of art born from pain even come from? Well, the review suggests it comes directly from the director's own lives, which might explain why their horror feels so effective. According to the review, the directors have a deep personal connection to these themes. We're talking direct experience with grief, loss, and mental illness. They had a mother who battled severe depression and a grandmother who died by suicide. So for them, this isn't just some abstract idea for a movie. It's a reality they're channeling into their art. And that personal history seems to shape their work in a really specific way. The critic uses this incredible phrase, elaboration without catharsis. What that means is they explore this deep, dark pain without giving the audience any easy way out, no sense of relief. It's a bleak worldview where innocent people often suffer horribly, which just makes the horror feel that much more raw and real. So this raw, unflinching approach is what leads the critic to their final, massive verdict, that this film is nothing less than a devastating masterpiece. It's more than just a great horror movie, it's an important one. Now, the review does give a heads up. This movie is apparently really tough to get through, even if you're a seasoned horror fan. It features things like cannibalism, witchcraft, and possessions pushed to their absolute limits. But the film's true power, its real impact, is so much deeper than just shock value. In the end, it all comes down to this. The critic concludes that Bring Her Back is, and I'm quoting directly here, one of the most shocking, intense, devastating, and heartbreaking films of recent years. It's praised as a movie from directors who really use their own empathy to turn personal pain into something unforgettable.
And all of this just leaves us with that one haunting question at the very core of the film. It's the thought that the review says will follow you right out of the theater. How far can grief push a person before they become completely unrecognizable? What a devastating question to leave you with.